everybody. This is Chet and Bill Show back in 2014, ready for our first show of the new year, and we've got a lot to talk about. Bringing it in with Foreigner, Hot Blooded. We've got a good rocking song going for you tonight. Got a lot to talk about on the Chet and Bill Show.
Now you move so fine. Let me lay it on the line. I wanna know.
Bill, that song, that really takes me back to my high school days when I'm out running around, driving, just riding around in the car with some of my good buddies, you know, on a Friday night, maybe after a football game or just, you know.
Maybe just you there. Yeah, I mean, same thing here.
Riding down to Crystals. I don't know, did you ever go down to Crystals on South Parkway and just hang out in the car, or maybe even go down to Martin Road and race a little bit in cars? Yeah.
From time to time, I've made my way down there.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So
remember the old A&W restaurant there, the root beer there on Drake Avenue. Used to go down there.
I do. That was a lot of fun too. Did you ever try to just take one of those A&W root beers and just gulp it straight down?
I think I was able to accomplish that by the time I graduated. That was a great accomplishment.
That was one of the goals, right? When you entered ninth grade, by the time I graduate, I'll be able to go down and A&W root beer.
Yeah, well, I did it.
There you go, Bill. All right, well, we'll just turn this on down. Let's get this show started. I know Bill is excited about talking tonight. It's been a while since we've actually had a show. I think we didn't have we had a show pre-Alabama-Auburn game, all right? Or did we? We didn't do one post, did we?
I know it's been a good while since we had a show in the books, but we didn't really get to talk even about the bowls. We didn't. We had all the holiday activities, that sort of thing. We didn't even really get the BCS discussion in, but yeah, I know we can wrap up a lot of that stuff and look forward to next year tonight.
Well, Bill, the BCS had a nice little run. It was bookended with Florida State playing in the first and the last BCS title games, with Tennessee beating them in the first one. That's the only, I think that might have been the only BCS game that Tennessee played in, by the way. And then Auburn losing to Florida State in this last BCS game, which, by the way, I think was one of the better games maybe that we've had in a long time, you know, as far as the BCS championship's concerned.
Yeah, I mean, it was something I looked at today, too, looking at the BCS games through the years. And, oh, yeah, they couldn't have they closed it out with a real barn burner, real game down to the very end. Auburn almost came away with the title, but Florida State got it back in gear and drove it down and won that game. It was disappointed a lot of Auburn fans, but really the Auburn Nation they seem to be very happy, obviously, with the season they had. I mean, nobody expected them to win more than 7, 8, probably 8 games, and for them to win the SEC championship and the finish number 2 in the nation was an awesome year for the Tigers. A lot of Bama fans were rooting against them, and Florida State came through and got the championship.
Yeah, it was interesting because it was, Auburn was probably one play away from just totally, absolutely blowing Florida State off the football field. I mean, when Florida State faked that punt and got that first down and then went on ahead in that drive to score the touchdown, I guess it made it 21-7 or 10. I guess 21-10 at that time, which, you know, if Florida State punts that ball, the amount of momentum that Auburn had going, it could have easily been 28-3 at the time if Auburn would have punched that in. And that would have I think that pretty much would have ended the game. I don't know that Florida State would have had enough muster to come back with that, especially the amount of momentum Auburn definitely would have had at that time.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a turning point. Even the coaches and players said the same, you know, that fake punt and the success of it got Florida State down, and when they scored and got their confidence up, and Jameis Winston got it together, started looking like an All-American quarterback, and Auburn just couldn't stop them on defense in that final minute and a half.
Yeah, but it looked like Auburn was going to pull another one out when they scored. With about like you said, about a minute and a half to go. I mean, it looks, hey, this game may be over, and then I guess Florida State had a big play on them. But it was interesting. Auburn gave up a big kickoff return for a touchdown. Alabama fans, I think, thought that was a little bit funny. Thought that was a little funny that Auburn gives up a big touchdown run, but especially because that's basically on a Auburn ran that missed field goal back against Alabama on the last second of the game to beat Alabama, a month earlier.
Yeah, I mean there was a couple of instances like that Bama fans looked at, hey, come back around, and that was one. And I know Chris Davis, the guy that actually scored that long return, he was the guy that was actually the victim of the final touchdown. He was overmatched with that tall receiver, Benjamin, I think, and he went up and pulled that pass down for the touchdown, and hated that for him, I guess, but it was a great play for Florida State to win that game there at the end. And yeah, I mean that was quite a game, and it's ending the BCS era. Going to be interesting to see what happens next year with this 4-team committee deal and see who gets in.
A lot of changes since we talked too, but a lot of coaching changes. I mean, I guess the biggest coaching vacancy obviously was the Texas job, with Mac Brown pretty much being pushed out, so to speak, and then I guess Texas hired Louisville coach Charlie Strong to take his place.
Yeah, that was kind of a surprise. You heard all the pursuit and the talk about Saban, and when that kind of blew over, and then all of a sudden you heard, well, who's Texas going to get? A big name.
I don't even like that hire. I don't think that's a good hire. I personally don't like that hire for Texas, but that's me. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't blown away by it, but yeah, I mean, he's done real well at Louisville, obviously, but it's just a different animal, big time. Going down to Texas, and I know he's putting together a staff, and it's going to be interesting to see how that works out for him.
Hey, what about this? What goes around comes around a little bit with Louisville hiring Bobby Petrino back.
Yeah, that was caught me off guard too. But yeah, I mean, I don't blame Louisville, and Petrino 1 year at Western Kentucky, and moving back to his old job. I mean, that guy he's come around full circle now, and hopefully he's his personal problems. I think he's learned his lesson, hopefully, that he is going to.
And I think Louisville put a big buyout clause in, too. He won't be leaving quickly, early. I can't get this out. He won't be able to move very fast to another team without that other team really putting up some major bucks to get him, and I don't think it's going to happen. So that was interesting. And James Franklin at Vanderbilt takes a Penn State job, and as soon as he takes it, he starts raiding a few of Vanderbilt's commits already.
Yeah, I mean that was one I kind of called. I don't know that it was a big shock to anybody when they started mentioning who's going to go to Penn State, and found out Franklin is a Pennsylvania guy, and I said, man, that is just a no-brainer.
It is. I thought he would be a better hire for Texas. I mean, I think Franklin's a pretty good coach. I kind of hate to say that, but I think he is a good coach. Give him the money, the facilities, and put the talent on the team, and I think Franklin can do the job. And I look for, even though they still got some storm to weather at Penn State, I think that Franklin will get it done. He'll weather that storm. He'll get the recruits, and hey, if he can give Urban Meyer some problem in the Big Ten, hey, I'm all for it. I mean, I don't like you know how I feel about Urban Meyer, right? I don't like Urban Meyer as a football coach, period, okay?
Yeah, I was reading an article online here about the James Franklin hire, and he said right off the bat, I don't know if you heard this quote, but he was quoted as saying, this is Franklin talking about Penn State, we are going to dominate the state, we are going to dominate the region. So he's going in there full blast, and that's the thing about Franklin. I mean, 25 wins, I think, at Vandy in 3 years. He's just so dynamic as a presence.
Do you know in the
everything
last
he does.
19 SEC, let's say the last 19 games or 20 games of all SEC schools, the winningest team in the last 20 games was Alabama. The second winningest team in the last 20 games was Vanderbilt. Now think about that.
Yeah, that's
pretty incredible.
Pretty incredible.
But here's what I think is going to happen to Vandy now. Vandy's going to fall back to Vandy. You know, their recruiting classes fell all the way down to 41st or something. It's probably going to fall even worse. I don't know who they're going to get for a head coach, but I will say this: they said that Vanderbilt AD said that they're getting more people interested in the job than they ever have. People that basically turned them down and wouldn't look at it when Franklin took the job is calling them now. So that's interesting. Franklin made it an appealing job. And the fact that Vanderbilt offered James Franklin 10 years, $50 million contract after Penn State offered him the $4.5 million per year, and Franklin turned that down.
No, I haven't. That's the first I've heard that.
It's a fact.
$5 million a year.
That's right. Vanderbilt offered him $5 million a year.
Wow.
Don't say you don't believe it.
I don't see how they can come up with that kind of money. with their 30,000.
Well, it's all about
fans
TV money too. Remember, and think about the money that's going to come off that new SEC contract stuff too. So
I didn't hear that, but that's crazy.
Well, I'm not telling you a story. And then Georgia lost a defensive coordinator to Louisville. There was a lot going on. I mean, what's another coaching job that came up? Speaking of coaching jobs, you know, Alabama had an offensive coordinator leave to go to Michigan, right? And then they hired a guy named, let's see, what was that guy's name? His name was Lane Kiffin. Oh, Lane Kiffin.
Yeah,
Lane Kiffin, yeah.
Folks have been talking about that a little bit here this week. But,
actually, like I said, and believe it or not, I think it's a good hire. You know, a lot of people don't think it's a good hire, I guess because of his antics he had maybe a lot of people point back to the Oakland Raider days when who was the guy that used to own the Raiders? Al Davis called him a liar and fired him in midseason, and then Tennessee gets him, and he leaves after 1 year for his dream job, by the way. Which I don't fault him for that, but I do fault him for trying to tell early enrollees not to go to class the next day after he took the job. I didn't like that, but leaving for his dream job, okay, fine. And then, of course, he gets fired midseason at USC. We discussed that on a previous show, but I guess it's relevant again. And then Alabama, Nick Saban hires him to consult with the Alabama Crimson Tide. I guess we should have knew something was coming at that point in time, right? Didn't think about that, but he put 2 and 2 together, and sometimes it equals 4. And in this case, it equaled Lane Kiffin being Alabama's new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I didn't think much of it. I thought, hey, he's a unemployed coach, known as an offensive mind. He'd been the OC at USC during some of their big years, and if Saban's going to bring a guy in, hey, bring him in. Let's have him look at what's going on. But
got a good-looking wife too. It'll help the press box looks or whatever when they pan the stadium crowd.
Yeah, and the ladies like old Lane himself. He's a pretty boy. So, but yeah, I mean, maybe he's grown up, and surely, after this trauma of being fired, and hopefully that he signed a 3-year contract for Alabama. So we'll see how it works out. But I'm in Saban we trust camp. That's going to be my authority. My motto. I'm going to go with him.
I think it's, I've been listening, I like to listen to Jay Barker and Aldo Greco and Tony the Bone or whatever his name is in the morning when I'm driving around in the morning, and you get these callers, and it just absolutely amazes me how fans can question Saban, who has won 3 out of the last 4 national titles. So he loses 2 games. I mean, a close one to Auburn. It could have went either way, right? And he lost a close one basically to Oklahoma. Then all of a sudden, he don't know what he's doing. It just blows me away. I mean, it's just, I understand people have opinions and can question things, but basically they make it listening to them, I'm getting from them they think that I think they would have made a smarter decision than Coach Saban on stuff. And it just blows me away.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you've got the platform for people to call in, talk radio, and get on Twitter, whatever. But they give them a platform on the radio. And, the guy, maybe he played high school football, maybe he didn't. I'm the same way. I get aggravated, I'll turn it off. But yeah, I know some Bama fans that, man, what's up with Saban? Is some of the, the guy's not perfect. He's not going to win every game, but it's just ridiculous to look at the success Alabama's had, and a couple little slip-ups, people are jumping ship almost.
This same guy I was listening to, right? If you remember, Lane Kiffin was offensive coordinator at USC when USC won a national title, right? And while Lane was at USC, there's a couple of Heisman Trophy winners, Michael Bush and then, Reggie Bush. Excuse me, guys. Reggie Bush and one of the quarterbacks.
Matt Leinart.
Okay,
yeah.
Now think about this. Now, Lane's offensive coordinator, and this guy had all. Yeah, Lane was able to do that because he had two Heisman Trophy winners at USC. And by the way, that was Pete Carroll's offense, not Lane Kiffin's. That was Pete Carroll's offense. They're giving Lane Kiffin absolutely zero credit for working with Matt Leinart and zero credit for being the offensive coordinator when USC won the national title. I mean, how can you do that? Just throw the baby out the bathwater or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's silly. I mean, Saban is bringing him in. This is a crucial time. Alabama's coming off the A.J. McCarron era, and there's going to be a full-blown quarterback battle. And, Lane's going to be in there as a quarterback coach. And
he's already contacted your five-star quarterback you guys have got committed.
Looking at David Cornwell out of Norman, Oklahoma. I just looked at some tape on him today. The kid's like 6'5", with a cannon. I mean, they rated him like about a 9 or 10 arm strength. And I like, he was hurt this year for the high school season, but he's already enrolled this week at Alabama, so that's
spring training's huge.
It's going to be.
Tennessee's got 14 early enrollees that's going to go through spring training. Yeah. We got a guy that's going to look a lot like your Henry guy. We got a committed tailback,
Gallatin.
He's up out of Tennessee. Yeah, he's 6'3", 230-pound running back, in Jalen Hurd. It's a guy that Tennessee really needs in soon. He's there, and he needs to be able to perform. So one of the things I think you have us looking at there, Bill, is recruiting rankings and commits and things.
Yeah.
And there's three that we look at, right? 247, Rivals, and Scout, right?
Yeah, those are the services you hear about the most with the rankings. And I did a little research into that today. Currently, all three have Alabama number one in those services. Scout.com has Tennessee at number 2, and Rivals has Ohio State number 2, Tennessee number 4, and 24/7 has Ohio State number 2. And Tennessee, I believe they've got them 6, yeah. Which, it's all Tennessee has the numbers, 33 commits, no 5 stars, but several.
That depends on who you're looking at.
Well, on no 5 stars on Scout.
No, they do on Scout, don't they? 247's the one they don't have on. Well, let me look at 247.
16 4 stars, which is more than anybody on a 4-star.
Anyway, this is 247. But anyway,
consistently, you've got Tennessee either in the top 5, 2, anywhere from 2 to 4. Alabama consistently sitting at number 1 in these opinions, which they could lose. There's still going to be some more commitments, could be some decommitments, but
they probably all will lose 1 or 2 in game 1 or 2.
Yeah. Again, Urban Meyer looking good, number 2 in a couple of the services. Texas A&M, a lot of vacancies there. You know, you have Evans and Manziel, the big studs going pro. So there's going to be a lot of openings there. Scout has Texas A&M number 3, and about number 5 on Rivals for A&M, number 3 for 24/7 on Texas A&M. So, and you got look a little bit farther down. Florida State's about 5 or 6. LSU's and Auburn in the bottom of the top 10. So a lot of that talk coming up on recruiting in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we probably ought to do a little bit more in-depth recruiting podcast. Here in the next week or two, and especially after signing day. You know, I think signing day is the first Wednesday in February, correct?
I believe so. Yeah. A lot of big news coming up in that range. You know, I was interested. I looked back at the bowl season, and you know, everybody talked about SEC this. Actually, the SEC did quite well, Chet. They were 7-3 in their bowls, which was
that's pretty strong.
The most wins by any conference.
And the Pac-12 at 6-3 is pretty good. You know, Pac-12 is a pretty strong conference right now. If you really take a look at it, I think Pac-12's got a good conference going.
I heard somebody, I don't know if it was radio, TV, say, "Oh, you just you know, change the names of the teams, and it's the SEC or the Pac-12's as good as the SEC," which I'm not ready to go there, but they're right there, almost as good. Many teams.
There's some good teams. Stanford's a good football team. Oregon's a good football team. You know, USC's not going to stay down very long. I mean, actually, they had a pretty good year after they fired Lane Kiffin. They went on a run.
Like the Pac-12, Stanford, Arizona, and Arizona State. So you had a lot of good teams, even in the mid-range and lower mid-range of the conference. So,
how about that MAC at 0-5?
Well, the
MAC, that's the WAC or
the
MAC?
MAC was 0-5. Bless their hearts, the Big Ten only 2-5 this year.
Oh, that really hurts my feelings, especially Irby, right?
Yeah.
Did they win? Ohio State win their bowl? They lost, didn't they?
They lost to Clemson.
Thank goodness.
Now Michigan State. Now they were the team this year. Very good team. Beat Stanford.
Yeah, Big 12. I don't think the Big 12 is that strong overall, right? I mean, Michigan's been down. I guess they weren't that bad this year.
Big 12.
Did Michigan. I say Big 10? I'm sorry.
Big 10.
Big 10. You know, Big 12. Big 12 don't. To me, Big 12 is a little down. They're not a powerhouse conference anymore, right?
Well, yeah. Oklahoma finished strong. Oklahoma State was a good team this year, and Kansas
Baylor.
State pretty good. Baylor. So yeah, I mean, there's
some pretty good ones in
there.
there.
Conference. They ended up 3-3, but. ACC gets the national title, but there were 5-6 overall. But
so it ended the SEC's 7-year run of national titles, right? 5 of which I guess came from 5 or 4 came from the state of Alabama, right?
7-year.
It was a 7-year run.
7-year run.
It was Florida, LSU, Florida, Alabama, Auburn, Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's history, but a lot of fans, you know, I'm not going to say, "Hey, Auburn, look at you, you know, you lost the streak, big deal." We've talked about that before. I mean, we were loyal to our teams, and you know, the SEC didn't win. I think you know, the death knell of the SEC is not here. You know, people saying, "Well, you know, SEC's." Their streak's over.
No, Tennessee's going to get better. Alabama's going to stay where they're at as long as Saban's there and recruiting the way he is. Auburn's going to be a thorn in the West Side. I think Malzahn has got it going there, and they're going to do nothing but get better. You also have Texas A&M. They're putting even more money in their facilities and stuff, and they're in the SEC and they're recruiting well. You know, they got a good coach in Sumlin. Texas A&M's going to be there. You know, Ole Miss has got a good football team. Mississippi State's not that bad. I mean, so the SEC West is pretty tough. Tennessee's a little down or been a little down. I think, honestly, with Butch Jones are on the way back. You got South Carolina's playing good football. Georgia's not a bad football team. South Carolina's not a bad football team. I think Florida is struggling right now. And honestly, I don't look for Florida to be that good next year. I don't think they got the playmakers. And I think Muschamp is in danger of losing his job. And right now, if I had to predict a coach that's going to lose his job next year in the SEC, I'd say it was Muschamp.
Yeah, I agree with you. They've had some defections, players transferring. Just the offense is a train wreck down there at Florida, and that's something you didn't really think you'd see is us be talking about Florida being the doormat or right down in the bottom of the SEC East. But like you said earlier, I think Vandy's going to drop back probably. I'm telling you right now, just listening to what you said, I agree with all those SEC teams that I'm just if I had to predict an SEC results right now for 2014, I wouldn't know where to start because there's so many good teams.
It's tough.
It's going to be as competitive
and
as it's ever been.
What if they make the change here in this off season and go ahead and add that 9th conference game before the season starts next year? Which they could. They add that 9th game. Yeah, they could still.
Well,
you'd have to. There'd be some schedule. Look, Alabama and Tennessee and these guys would have to drop a weak sister to do it, right? And what I'm saying by that, I mean we all have got some teams that we probably shouldn't be playing.
Yeah.
So I think Tennessee may have Chattanooga next year or something. So I mean, the point being is, if we go to 9, just think though, if you go to 9 conference games, SEC conference games, think how it's already brutal, but think how much more brutal it'll be. I mean, that just adds another opportunity for you to lose. Right now, we're throwing in opportunities to win, right? Without that conference game, we have a weak team we play.
Seems like I recall that Coach Saban was one of the only ones
he wants
in favor of that.
I think Butch Jones is in favor, and I think Dave Hart, Tennessee the athletic director, I think they're saying, hey, we're going to end up going there. It's going to happen.
Yeah, but when I think about it, just right off the top of my head, thinking, well, got this 4-team playoff, they're calling it, this 4-team final coming up for the championship next year, and don't you think that would be a hindrance to SEC? I mean, our power, is going to be there. You're not going to have the polls. You're not going to have these computers with the power ratings. It's so subjective now with the committee. I don't know, man. This SEC teams beating each other up even more, but I don't know, the cream's going to rise to the top.
You got to think that unless the SEC just looks rotten, you got to think for the most part, an SEC school, the winner of that SEC championship game should be in that 4. You would think, right?
Right. I don't see how you could not say that.
So what about NFL? I mean, I'm liking me some NFL right now. We've got a quarterback that's making one of the greatest runs in NFL history, and I think if he can actually win the AFC Championship and then win the Super Bowl, there will be no doubt that was the greatest quarterback exhibition of all time.
See where you're going. I know who you're talking about.
Mr. Peyton Manning.
Yeah, he broke the record for TD passes. Broke the record for yardage. I don't know if that got overturned. There was a little controversy.
It did not get overturned. It was 5,477 yards in a single season.
5,400 yards. 53 touchdowns, am I right? 55 touchdowns.
55 regular season touchdowns.
But, yeah, I mean, Peyton came through. The Broncos hard-fought win, 24-17. I don't know if you saw some of that game, but San Diego came back, scored a touchdown, got an onside kick. Valiant effort. Phillip Rivers had a great year, comeback. He'd been down a couple of years, But I mean, the pressure was on. I mean, Peyton.
I heard that.
You know,
I heard that Peyton completed a 3rd and 17 late in the game.
I don't remember seeing
on the
that.
on the last drive or whatever that they had it. It was 3rd and 17, and they hit it. Then it was the next series. I mean, same drive. It was like 3rd and 6 or 7, and they hit it again. So I mean, some key plays for Denver to hang on to the ball to go ahead and win that game.
It's like I said. I mean, overall Peyton through the years with the Colts, not the best overall record. excuse me, for playoff wins, but yeah, I mean, this season he is, the pressure's on, but man, it's shaping up. Think of that next week, Chet. Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
And
don't get any better than that.
And you know that Peyton's going to win the MVP award. Got to for this year, right? So he's going to win the MVP. Oh, and by the way, they said that it's been 10 years since New England won the Super Bowl. I heard that today, which is shocking. And last time that they played I think it was on the road, they lost to the Colts on the road for the AFC Championship game. It was in 2006. I guess that's the year that the Colts won the Super Bowl. Of course, Brady's got to go to Mile High Stadium to face Peyton this coming Sunday. And by the way, you've got also on the NFC side, you've got 2 really good football games in Seattle and San Francisco, right?
Right. Seattle's been the top team all year in the NFC. I think they've only lost 2 or 3 games, but yeah, Seattle and San Francisco, another great matchup. The Niners lost the Super Bowl last year to the Ravens, but they're back in it. Took care of Carolina. Cam Newton just couldn't come through, which I wasn't too unhappy to see that. But yeah, 23-10, the Niners ended up beating the Panthers, and man, Seattle has got that reputation as the toughest place to play, and you got 2 coaches there. You got Harbaugh and Pete Carroll, who've had a history with each other, and they going back to the college, Stanford and USC, and they don't. There's a lot of animosity there.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people say that a college coach can't do well in the NFL, and of course Pete Carroll's showing that you can. A lot of college coaches haven't done well, and I think maybe that they didn't really just stick with it as long as it would take. I mean, I think Saban, he wasn't at Miami that long. 2 years, 3 years? It wasn't long enough really to get it done. I just don't think he liked it. Steve Spurrier, again.
Yeah.
But sometimes what you're trying to do don't translate, or maybe the way that you deal with players don't translate. But anyway, that said, it ought to be 2 very good football games this weekend, and whoever ends up coming out of that, which I hope it's Denver, obviously, and on the other side, I don't know who that I care. Maybe Denver. I might like to see Denver and Seattle.
Yeah, well, let's go with our picks there. What do you?
I'm going with Seattle to beat San Francisco, and I'm going to go with. I have to just because it's Peyton. I'm going to go with Denver to beat New England.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you. I mean, they're going to be the favorites. Seattle, I pick them to win. Overall, a better team, I think. And Denver, Denver's a better team, I think, overall, unless some strange things. But really, I mean, that's close to being, that game being played in Denver's big.
I think they got the 4 best football teams left, right? I mean, really do.
Yeah.
And you think, as they're playing that in Denver, it ought to be a great, great, great game. I had something on my mind and it slipped. I don't know what it is. But anyway, looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, that's going on next week, and then I think they're going back to the off week for the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is going to be in New Jersey at
inside or outside?
No, outside at
that ain't good.
Giants Stadium or whatever it is.
I don't like that.
But, so
don't like that.
I don't know how that's going to work out, but
well,
it's gonna be
Peyton's
interesting.
been using gloves most of the year. I guess just about the whole year. I guess. I suppose it helps him with this, his grip from his neck injury and things. So he wears gloves all the time anyway. But still, playing in the cold, man. Of course, it's cold for both sides. And Seattle, Seattle, Denver. I guess it's probably, as far as playing in the cold, they probably both get it about the same type of weather year round, right? Wouldn't you think? So they probably both pretty familiar with it. Of course, Denver plays in. No, they don't play inside. They play outside, right? Seattle plays outside too.
Rainy, Pacific Northwest, but the way that stadium, I don't know if it's the way it's configured or their fans. I don't know how they're any more crazy, but they have the loudest stadium that's been measured, I think, in sound. But yeah, that's going to be both of those games. If I had to match up two championship games, those are the two that I would come up with. So that's going to be. We're looking at Super Bowl. What is that, Chet? 48.
Super Bowl 48. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
I can recall.
I'm barely older than that.
Chet, I remember Super Bowl. I remember when the Packers were the champions, and remember the old Ice Bowl. I think that was 67 or 68. And I've plainly remember Super Bowl III, but I couldn't tell. I could tell you the first few Super Bowls, but I couldn't tell you one 2 or 3 years ago. But that's just the way it is.
I don't know if I could tell you who won last year.
Baltimore beat Frisco, but the year before that, I'm a little hazy, but had the power blackout during the game. Yeah, but
well. Anyway, so we'll be looking forward to this. So, Bill, let's see, what else we need to talk about? I just, an FYI, I could care less about college basketball right now.
Yeah, it's too early to talk about basketball.
It's no fun to watch.
It's
no fun to watch because really don't turn the game on until there's 2 minutes to go, because your team could be up by 15 during the game, and then late in the game you're down by 10. I mean, it's such big swings and ref-controlled games. It's just, frustrating, Bill. I watched Tennessee and Texas A&M the other day, and after I saw that, I thought, that's it. I'm done. So, I'm done. I don't need that. I'll have to go to anger management class. I'll keep watching that kind of stuff. It just frustrates me to no end, if you want to know the truth. But anyway,
well,
hey, another great show.
Winter Olympics.
Winter Olympics.
Sochi,
Yamamoto.
Russia this year. I actually get into the Olympics.
That's probably
now.
fun. It's what, 2 weeks it's 2 weeks, right? Or is it?
Yeah, about 2 weeks of 2 weeks of action there. But I couldn't name probably any of the athletes. So
That's
Lindsey
the point.
Vonn, the female skier, she's hurt. So
we've had some issues come out on
that.
some of our athletes, right? Admitting that they might be, and then and I don't really
where
want
are you going there, Chip?
and I think the Russian contingent ain't real happy about that. So
I think I know what you're. Yeah,
we won't
the
go
Olympics
there.
has been just a political thing that people use and for whatever through the years, and then this year, I think Russia's passed some laws against who's and she's and all that stuff.
Now, do we still have ice hockey as part of the Winter Olympics?
Chet is definitely.
Don't say yes.
Yes, that is a winter.
I thought
Olympic
maybe that sometimes they take sports
They
out.
do. Softball has been dropped, or baseball's been dropped. I think from the Summer Olympics.
Maybe that hockey might have been dropped, because I don't think Russia would want to drop hockey, though, right? They used to be pretty good about it. What was it, 1980 when we really had a major upset?
That's true. That's true.
I pulled another one out of my hat.
Hockey's. I always enjoy hockey in the Olympics,
and you love that figure skating too, don't you, Bill?
Well, the men's figure skating now.
You like men's figure skating? Oh, come on!
Can't stand it.
Oh man.
I don't know. Sometimes I watch that.
So in the Winter Olympics, we don't have no sprinting, right? We have ice sprinting.
We
right?
have speed skating now.
Speed skating. Now that's kind of interesting.
one of the better sports.
Do you have the cycling, the bicycling?
You
Or is that,
no, that's summer.
See, I don't know squat. What else we got? Swimming? No, that's summer too, right?
I'm not gonna.
You got
that.
ski jumping.
Ski jump.
That's
yes.
pretty cool.
The 90 meter or whatever, 70 meter.
Oh, and then the slalom down the slopes.
Yeah, you have your downhill ski, which is just flat out, 70 mile an hour, just
thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Then you have
remember that commercial for the Olympic? It went on forever.
Wide
like
World of Sports, the intro there.
Oh, that was wicked. That guy coming down that and just it's terrible, right?
Not even making it off the ramp, but
that was so bad. Oh
but
man.
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, we can do an Olympic show. I mean, there's going to be a little national pride coming out.
Chet and Bill Show is
USA.
just not SEC football. Hey, baby, we're branching
I
out
said
to
Alabama.
all sports. Oh, you threw an Alabama person in there?
Instead of saying USA, I said Alabama. But
oh well, I'm sure that I'm sure that Alabama will probably have an athlete or two, and maybe Tennessee will, and you never know, right?
I don't know about in the Winter Olympics. But
no, that's a good point. Usually, maybe if they're racing and
They're
foot racing,
actually
sprinting, hurdles and things like that, we usually have some guys.
It's kind of interesting. When you look at some of the sports like Alabama or Tennessee, look at their roster in like swimming, track and field. You do have quite a few Olympians from different countries, be it Africa or a lot of European countries.
Is the Greco-Roman wrestling or whatever they call it, is that part of it, or did they get rid of that?
That summer, Chet.
What?
How could we forget bobsled? I
Now
love
that
the
is fun. The bobsledding is pretty cool.
It's dangerous too, man.
It is.
And the luge is where they lay down on the little sled. But yeah, the bobsled. I don't know if Jamaica has got a team, the Jamaican bobsled team.
That's a pretty good movie. Did you ever watch that movie? John
Cool
Candy and those guys. It was pretty good. I really enjoyed that movie.
But yeah, we'll be breaking down the bobsled competition.
And of course the medal race. It's always pride of the U.S. to win the medal race, right?
True. The home country usually has a big bump in their medals winnings. This year,
is that home medal advantage?
Look for Russia to finish strong this
year. Oh, wait a minute.
year.
Oh, well, here we go. Let's see. So there's archery, badminton, biathlon. Wait a minute. You're going too fast. All this Winter Olympics?
These are summer and winter. You got bobsled.
Oh, hey, I just saw one that
curling.
Curling. I'm thinking that's one you can get excited about. They take that big, I guess it's a curl. I don't know what's called that thing. That's stone, and they kind of slide it down there, and you got your sweepers.
You got your sweepers with the brooms.
Is that not cool or what? No, it's not.
It's
something different.
It's different, yeah. I mean, it's big in Canada now. Then you got
what is this Nordic
Nordic combined.
What is that?
That's where they do the skiing, the cross country skiing, and I think that's where they shoot the.
I'm sorry, some of this stuff I ain't got any interest in.
The biathlon. Well,
I mean, what? Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Well, ice hockey is going to be ice hockey. Like I said, the bobsled. There's some things that.
Is weightlifting in the winter, or is it summer?
It's summer. Well, I have to.
What's skeleton? What is skeleton?
Skeleton is a sled, almost like your old your neighborhood sled. I mean, they're.
They'll just make anything up to be a sport, won't they?
Face down, belly on a sled, going down the bobsled track. So
what?
That's yeah.
No, that's dangerous. They said they think they're going to have the toughest security ever at the Olympics, right? That's a big deal again. Making sure that we have no attacks. We certainly don't want any terrorist attacks at any Olympic events.
Yeah, you have groups that want to make a stand or get the news, and So, yeah, I hope that don't happen this time. So, but, yeah, when is that coming up? But we got the Olympics coming up. So
July 27th through August of 12th? No, that's 2012. That was something else. I meant, find the Winter Olympics, Bill. Let's tell people when it is. We know it's coming up. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing to have a sports talk show and you don't even know when it's going to happen. Go to the Olympics homepage. Believe it or not, people, we're on ESPN right now trying to look at this and figure this out. Bill's driving the web page, not doing a very good job at it. But anyway, of course, he does know a little bit more about the Olympics than I do.
Oh, I do know.
NBC, Olympics on NBC.
NBC, Olympics will be on NBC. And
24 days until competition.
February 4th.
You know, always opening night or opening day or whatever you call it, and they march all the people in and all that. Pretty cool. Opening ceremonies. The one in China was pretty cool. You remember that one? That was really good.
Yeah, quite a show. The spectacle is crazy. Now, you know, they always come up with something new to dazzle everybody. But
I don't know if you've heard this, but where there's a 15-year-old sensation that has basically skated her way to Sochi. Just reading the headlines here, people.
Attaboy, Chet. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows about
Paulina
Edmonds.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, everybody. 15-year-old.
15-year-old, and that's...
figure skating, you know, that's always interesting. Usually you're your best when you're young at that kind of stuff for some reason. Can anybody forget the Nancy, is it Kerrigan? Is it Nancy Kerrigan?
Yeah, Nancy Kerrigan
and the one that
Tanya Harding
that bopped her in the leg or something.
Yeah, that's going to be on the 30 for 30.
Really,
a film of that.
Wow.
So, and,
I remember that was a big deal, right?
Why me? Why?
Oh man, it was. You know, and then what Olympics was it that had the ice skater that repeatedly kept falling down, and then Saturday Night Live made the skit on it. Whoops, there they go again.
Female or male?
I think it was a female. I really do. So anyway, I mean, there's been some memorable moments, good and bad, funny and sad, and somebody. What was a person that failed in a race that was the Summer Olympics, I think. Got kicked in the shin or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, some of your speed skating competitions, you know, little known fact to you, Chet,
absolutely,
that South Korea is one of the powers in speed skating. That's one of their good sports.
Well, who is AUT?
This is the all-time medal winnings for alpine skiing. That'd be Austria, Chet.
AUT's Austria?
Austria dominates the skiing competition through the years, 105 total medals. Switzerland, 56. France in third place overall. United States, I don't know where.
What is
United
it?
States is fourth actually.
In skiing? That's okay. You know, whatever. So, yeah, I'm just. I'll watch some of that. I'll watch some of that.
I mean, there's.
All right. Yeah, my son just walked in. I think my son just got married a couple of weeks ago, Bill. Well, a week and a half ago.
I was there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was New Year's Eve.
I danced at his wedding.
You did, and
there's no pictures floating around.
I attempted to dance at his wedding. You know, he actually went on a Caribbean or whatever you call it cruise for his honeymoon.
Lucky him. I knew about that.
You know, and he actually a couple of ports he didn't even get to go into because of bad weather. Can you believe that? Now you're thinking, hey, I'm on a cruise down south, so to speak, right? Mm-hmm. And he said even while they were cruising, some of their weather was like 71 degrees down there. It's like you're thinking surely it's going to be 80, 90s or something, nice weather, and he's, you know, he didn't even get off the ship a couple of times.
Well, I mean, I guess it is January, but I did think it would be warmer in that area.
12-foot swells in what he was riding in some of it.
I'm going to have to talk to him.
Well, he's right there.
Hello out there.
Yeah, well, hello. So glad to have you back, son.
Yeah, good to be back.
good to see you.
Austin's my co-host on some Bitcoin news every now and then. You know, I don't just talk sports, so I can get into some Bitcoin. All right.
See you later.
We'll see you, son. So, snowboarding. Let's get back to snowboard. We kind of lost it there. But
if you're listening to us, folks, we appreciate it. But
I'm sure we lost you about 20 minutes ago, honestly.
You've got the youth-oriented snowboarding that is Sean White. You know who he is? The redheaded kid.
I hate to tell you this. I think we're struggling for stuff right now.
We dominate snowboarding, Chet.
Dominate. Probably because we invented it.
Well,
I bet we invented it in the X Games.
I don't know that we invented. Well, yeah. I mean, the popularity of the X Games, I'll give you that. But we're looking at total history of 19 medals, doubled Switzerland's 9. So. That's something to look forward to.
And Switzerland's probably got a lot of snow.
They do.
So they should be dominating, right?
Now I like this snowboarding race that they do, and it's pretty cool. It's like four guys going down the slope on their snowboards. It's pretty good, pretty fun.
They couldn't see the little gesture you made there, Bill, but it was kind of cute the way you said they go down through there. All right, ice hockey. All right. We'll cover who has the best record in ice hockey if you can find that, and then let's try to wrap this thing up for the night. I think we've had a good show. Had a lot of fun. Now that's surprising right there to me. All-time hockey medals: Canada 18. USA 15, and the URS, who's that?
Russia. Soviet Union, Russia.
Did you know actually I have one of those flags? I do. I have a Russian flag.
He pointed to the
Russian flag. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have a what'd you call it? A hammer and sickle flag.
Yeah. Oh,
okay. I do. I have to find it, but I have one.
I believe you.
Okay.
You commie?
I had an aunt give it to me or something one time.
You were surprised that
actually I would have.
Canada is their national sport is hockey, so everybody knows
it's
that.
Not football. They got Canadian football.
Chet, Canada's won 11 goals. U.S. has only won 3 goals, but we've won a lot of silvers.
We're second place, baby.
Runner up, but Russia's won second most with 8. Gold medals, but I don't know what the predictions are. Somewhere I saw in here that what the predictions are. But anyway, the Olympics coming up, and that's about all I got to say about that.
We got Olympics coming up, and then after Olympics finish up, February will be here
Not
again.
to mention
signing day, and we're going. And then the Daytona 500 is in February. 500. I think we ought to talk some about that here a little later.
We got the Bassmasters Classic.
Bassmasters Classic,
I'm
sure we could probably get somebody to come on and do a talk with us on that.
That's going to be at the end of February.
And then
that's the Super Bowl of fishing. It's going to be in Guntersville. So.
That's amazing. Do you know we actually have a guy that we go to church with that actually produces a fishing show? I don't know if you knew that or not. Mike Johnson.
Yeah,
so we could probably have Mike on the show sometime. I'm sure he'd love to talk with us. And I really think we need to go after some of these big fish. like like I said, even though the guy don't know me from Adam, I'm friends with on Facebook with Gerald Riggs Jr. I might give him a private message and see if he might be interested in just having a good old blast with us.
Bring him on.
Richmond Flowers that played for Tennessee back in the 60s. Anyway.
Chet's name dropping here.
I'm name dropping. They don't know me.
Spike there. But, we got the March Madness will be good. And then baseball. I mean, I'm a big baseball Braves fan coming up. Spring training starting in
Glavine, Maddox, and Cox just made the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah. Very glad to see that. First ballot, Maddox, Glavin both going in. Frank Thomas.
Frank Thomas got in, ex-Auburn guy, right?
Auburn player.
Great baseball player. Great football player, right? Did he play He played football for Auburn.
Seems like he.
I think he was. I think he was a tight end at Auburn. I think so. Anyway,
but I actually saw him play. They used to play an Alabama-Auburn game sometimes at Joe Davis. I saw him play. Also saw him play as a minor leaguer. But yeah, I mean, the baseball season coming up, and you know, a lot of stuff to talk about in Chet and Bill's world. So. Looking forward to a full year Chet and Bill Show, and
yeah, it's a lot of
maybe call it a night here and take it out with some more Foreigner.
We love Foreigner. I say, and by the way, Bill, I don't know if you remember this, but realize it, but we're fixing to have our 35th class reunion. I mean, I don't know that we've got one set up. We graduated from Johnson High School, J.L. Johnson Jaguars. In 1979, so that's 35 years ago, Bill.
I realize that. I haven't heard of any events scheduled, but maybe we'll have a get-together. And
we ought to,
yeah, man.
You know, you got the Facebook. Hey, I think that the old Facebook one from 5 years ago is still there. You could probably get in contact with some of those people and see if we couldn't get together. You know, maybe we can do a broadcast from the Jaguar.
Interview some of the all-time
greats,
great
ex-football players, and maybe dance
some of the hot
people.
girls, maybe.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. For those that actually did stick through this, we certainly do appreciate it, and I know you're looking forward to our next show.
I know I am, but yeah, we'll be back. We promise. So thanks for listening to Chet and Bill Show, and check us out on the internet. That old internet, you gotta love it. The World Wide Web.
You just keep on going, don't you, Bill?
Chet and Bill
Show.com. ChetandBillShow.com. Also, Facebook.com/Chet and Bill Show. I don't know. Anyway, again, thanks for listening.
Available on iTunes.
Hey.